and a great alternative to French champagnes.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
A little bit of fighting here. Anyways.
Welcome to our casa, and today we're gonna drink some bubbles and eat some fried food. Balance. We have fancy and comfort. Oh, my favorite day so far. This is similar to a fritto misto, something that you would have, you know, before dinner, an appetizer with like an Aperol spritz. Today we're going to be drinking it with our beautiful Franciacorta.
We decided for this pairing because the bubbles and the acidity is gonna help to cut through the grease of the dish we're gonna eat today.
And who doesn't love fried food and bubbles?
Franciacorta is another one of the great Italian DOCG. We already spoke about Chianti Classico in Tuscany. We mentioned Barolo in Piedmont. This DOCG is in Lombardy. Lombardia is located on the hills in between the southern shore of the Lago d'Iseo, Iseo Lake, and the city of Brescia. All the Franciacorta wine must be produced with the Metodo Classico. Huge topic. We're gonna try to explain it in as much simple way as we can. Metodo Classico, or classic method, or traditional method, or what was well known as champenoise method, is a technique used to produce sparkling wine. Now, the name champenoise has been forbidden to be used besides the champagne production because French producers lobbied at the European Union and made the word champenoise only a distinctive production technique for champagne. But Metodo Classico and champenoise are basically the same thing. What happens when you produce the wines, the sparkling wine, with this specific technique? There's two fermentation going on. The first fermentation happens like any other wine. In big tank, the sugar naturally present in the grape ferment, and the carbon dioxide escapes from the tank in a normal and regular way. Once this process is completed, the wine is transferred into the bottle with added yeast and sugar for a second fermentation. The wine is corked with a crown cap, and that's when the second fermentation begins. So carbon dioxide have anywhere to go and start to create atmospheric pressure into the bottle. After this stage is completed, the bottle is transferred in a special wine rack called the puprit in French, which is a special rack where the bottle has an angle of 35 degrees with the neck on the bottom. At this point, the wine goes into its riddling phase of production. Every day, once every single day, the bottle gets a little bit shaken and turned, alternative on the right and on the left, in a way that the sediment get deposited towards the neck of the bottle. After a period that varies in between weeks and months depending on the producer, the bottles are ready for a new phase of production called disgorging, or in French, dégorgement. Remove all the deposits that are accumulated on the neck of the bottle, basically freezing the top part of the bottle and removing this part that is gonna be, can you say discarded? How do you say it?
Discarded.
That is gonna be discarded. We are opening today a fantastic bottle. We are very, very excited of Franciacorta Metodo Classico from Castello Bonomi. Paladin family owns this land. We know them. We use their wine many times. Are incredible wine. Matthias, who imports this wine, is a brother to me and to Megan. This is a 95% Chardonnay, 5% Pinot Noir grape. This is a very soft Italian sparkling wine, very high-end product. Again, a great alternative to champagne if you want to drink Italian. Keep in mind Franciacorta Metodo Classico. You'll be very, very happy. Cheers.
Cheers. No words. It's delicious.
Delicious.
Let's start making the batter. Thank you, Jay and Virginia, for this awesome new apron. We're gonna be using a more traditional Italian batter, which in Italian they call pastella. It's very fluffy batter. You can use whatever ingredients you want with this batter, but today we're going to be using cod, we're going to be using zucchini, and some onions, and even some fresh sage leaves. Have fun with it. Fry whatever you like. It's fried. It's going to be delicious. So there is like a billion ways to make pastella. I did think of pasta anella. I saw some recipes using white wine. I saw some recipes using milk. But today I'm going to show you my favorite way. I'm going to be using a 00 flour, but of course if you don't have that at home, all-purpose flour will be just fine. I like to use the 00 flour because it has a lower protein count, so it just makes it a little bit more softer, fluffier, that exact texture that we want to get. We're going to be using 1 egg and sparkling water, our favorite, San Pellegrino. These two ingredients must be cold. Make sure you're just taking them out of the fridge right before you need to use them. We're going to start with our 1 egg and we're going to separate our yolk from our white. Start with our egg white and we're just going to add a pinch of salt and we're going to use our hand mixer to whip up the egg whites. Just going to whip it up just so we get nice soft peaks forming on top. So with our yolk we're going to add 100 grams of our 00 flour, a half teaspoon of baking powder, 80 milliliters of sparkling water. Use your hand mixer. Okay, now we add our egg whites into our flour mixture. Now let's prepare our second batter that we're going to use for our fish. It's the same exact procedure that we used for the veggie batter. Let's prep our veggies. Make sure that your cod is nice and dry. So you can really choose any shape or size you'd like your cod. Today we're going to do more like strips of cod. Our ingredients are prepped, chopped, ready to go, ready to be covered in batter. So let's get our oil up to a nice high temperature of 350 to 375. You want a lot of oil in the pan, 2 to 3 inches, so it has lots of room for the fish and veggies to fry up nicely. So we're using 6 cups of canola oil. You want your flame super high, and while we wait for our oil to get up to a 350 degree temperature, we're going to drop a few of those onion rings that we prepared earlier. What this is going to do is it's going to really flavor the oil. I'm also going to drop in a few sprigs of basil to give it a really nice flavor. We have all of our ingredients ready to go. We have our batter station set up, our oil getting hot, and we also have the landing station where we're just going to use a full baking sheet with some paper towels underneath a cooling rack so it will have a place to drain and absorb the oil. Also, before we put batter on our cod, we're just going to season it a little bit with some salt. You definitely want your oil to stay at a minimum of 350. Always checking in on your temperature. If it's getting too high, you're gonna lower the flame. Too low, bring up the heat. And make sure after you take them out, you give them a nice salting right when they're nice and hot. Salt's just gonna cling to them. Bare basil leaves. I just love fried basil. We're gonna serve it with a side of marinara for a dipping sauce, and it's all ready to go. Please ring the bell, like, or subscribe to our channel, or all of the above. Buon appetito!
Cheers.
Cheers.
To our fritto misto.
Fritto misto Saturday.
Mamma mia.
Onion ring.